All right, we're going to talk about something fascinating today. A company that links your favorite soda to life-saving medicines. It's a hidden giant that's probably in your life right now, and you don't even know it.
So let's just jump right in with a real head scratcher. What could your afternoon energy drink and, say, a critical cancer drug possibly have in common? I mean, they seem like they're from totally different universes, right? Well, the answer is pretty wild.
Okay, this chart starts to peel back the first layer of the mystery. We're looking at where one company sells its stimulants. And wow, look at that. A huge 65% goes straight into beverages. But then you've got this other big chunk, 35%, going into pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. So what's going on here?
And here it is, the big reveal. The connection is a single, incredibly specialized pharmaceutical company. They're working behind the scenes, making a key ingredient that ends up in both a can of cola and in the pharmacy. One company, two completely different worlds. So it's time to meet the company behind the curtain. We're talking about Aarti Pharmalabs, or APL for short. You might not know the name, but trust me, they are a massive player, just a very, very quiet one, working in some of the world's most important supply chains. And listen, these guys are not the new kids on the block. We're talking about a company that's built its reputation on 25 years of pharmaceutical excellence. That's not just a fancy slogan. That kind of experience is absolutely critical when you're making stuff that millions of people depend on every single day. And the scale of this operation, it's just staggering. Get this, they manufacture over 220 different products for more than 500 clients in 50 different countries. I mean, just think about that reach. It's a truly massive global network. And if you look at their journey, you can see how they got here. It's a story of smart, deliberate moves. They started with their core units back in 2001, then made a huge leap into caffeine production in 2016. And right now, they're in the middle of this massive expansion, a new site called Italy that's set to come online next year. It's all about strategic growth. And you might be wondering, are they stable? Well, financially, they are rock solid. They've got a strong AA-credit rating, which basically means banks and investors see them as a super safe bet. And that net debt to equity number, all it means is they own way, way more than they owe. For their customers, this is huge. It means they're a reliable partner who's going to be around for the long haul.
Okay, so we started with caffeine, right? But honestly, that's just scratching the surface. To really understand APL, you got to look at their whole business, which is built on three main pillars. So pillar number one is xanthines. Now, that's the family of stimulants that includes our old friend, caffeine. APL is actually the largest manufacturer of these in India, and their ingredients aren't just for putting the fizz in colas. They're also used in really important medicines, like for treating asthma.
Pillar 2 gets even more serious. We're talking about APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. The easiest way to think about an API is that it's the active part of a medicine. It's the ingredient that actually does the work. And we're talking about the core components for drugs that treat cancer, heart disease, diabetes. This is high-stakes stuff. And pillar number 3 is something called CDMO. This is where APL really becomes a partner in innovation. Think of them as a factory for hire for the world's top pharma innovators. They help other companies take a brand-name drug idea all the way from a lab concept through testing and into full-scale manufacturing. They're basically a key part of the engine that brings new medicines to all of us. And this chart really breaks down where the money comes from. As you can see, xanthines and APIs are the heavy hitters, right? Together, they make up about 90% of the business. But you see that smaller slice, the CDMO part? That might look small now, but that's their big bet on the future. That's the high-growth innovation engine. So why is all this growth at APL happening right now? And why is it so important? Well, it plugs directly into a massive global shift that's changing where and how the world makes its most critical products. This quote from their own report says it all. They are a non-Chinese dependent and fully backward integrated manufacturer. Let's break that down. Non-Chinese dependent means they offer an alternative supply source, and backward integrated, that just means they control their own raw materials, so they're not waiting on someone else. This makes them an incredibly valuable and reliable partner in today's world. And they are putting their money where their mouth is, big time. They're making two huge bets. On one side, you have the Greenfield project at Atali. That's building a brand new site from scratch, pouring in a ton of money to grow their innovative CDMO business. On the other side, they have a brownfield expansion that's upgrading their existing site at Tarapur to just completely dominate their established strength in xanthines. Just to give you a sense of what this expansion actually looks like, check out the jump in their reactor capacity. That's basically the core of their manufacturing muscle. They're going from over 1,100 kiloliters to more than 1,500. That is a huge leap in their ability to produce. And what's their goal for the xanthine business alone? Just a casual 9,000 metric tons a year. That's nearly doubling what they do now. They're not just trying to grow, they're making a play to capture up to a quarter of the entire global market. That's some serious ambition. Okay, so we've dug into the company, their business, their strategy, but let's zoom back out. Why does any of this matter to you? What's the real takeaway here?
Well, here's the big picture. First, it shows that some of the most critical companies in the world are basically hidden in plain sight. Second, it proves that our everyday products, like a soda and our most essential medicines, are deeply, deeply connected. And maybe most importantly, there's a huge global shift happening right now to make the world's medicine supply chain more secure. And it's companies just like APL that are on the absolute front lines of that change.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty profound question to think about. As these global supply chains continue to shift and realign, who are the companies that are actually going to build the world's pharmacy of tomorrow? And based on everything we've seen today, Aarti Pharmalabs is making a very, very strong case that it's going to be them.